Good afternoon, 8th grade, or good evening, or top of the morning to you. Today we will be doing a lesson using point slope forms. If you'll remember, in yesterday's lesson we learned about the famous slope intercept form. Got to know that one. The slope intercept form is a formula in which we solve for y and look at y equals mx plus b. Remember m is your slope, and b is your y-intercept. Today we're looking at a different version of that formula called point slope form. You use the point slope form of a linear equation when you have a slope and a point. So if you're given a point and a slope, this is a handy-dandy formula to use to help you graph a line and to come up with an equation. The equation for point slope form, you have to know this, so write this down, is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The m, as usual, stands for our slope. The x1 and y1 are a specific point. Notice the subscript. Notice the 1 there. That means it's a specific point, not a general x and y point. Well, how will we use this? Let's look at some examples. So, for example, if you're asked to write an equation in point slope form, and you're given a slope, and you're given a point, all you do is plug it in. So we're going to start with that formula. Write it down. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And then you simply plug in the values you're given. So you're given the slope is 1/6. So where you see the m, you're going to put in a 1/6. You're given the specific point 5, 1. So you put the 5 in for the x. You put the 1 in for the y. And you have your formula in point slope form. Y minus 1 equals 1/6 times the quantity x minus 5. At this point, if you're just asked to write the equation in point slope form, you are done. Here's another one. We're given slope -4. We're given the point 0, 3. So again, start with the point slope formula. Big one to know. And plug in the values that you're given. I'm given that m, the slope is -4. I put it in right there by the m, underneath the m. I'm given the point where x is 0 and y is 3. So I put a 0 in for x, I put a 3 in for y, and I get the resulting formula, the resulting equation, y minus 3 is equal to -4 times x minus 0. So now you know how to write the equation in point slope form. What else can you do with it? You can graph. In this example, we're given an equation, y minus 4 equals 3/4 times x plus 2. And we're asked to graph it. What do? First, we identify the slope and the point. Well, the slope's easy to identify. It's just right out front, in front of the parentheses. It's 3/4. What's the point going to be? Well, remember, in this formula, we're subtracting our specific point. So we're subtracting our y value, we're subtracting our x value. The y value being subtracted is 4. That's easy. And the x value, this is a little trickier because we have a plus sign here. So we need to rewrite that as subtraction. So we're going to rewrite that as x minus a -2. So our x value is actually a -2, not a +2. And now we know our point is -2, 4. Our slope is 3/4. Now we have to remember back to our previous section to graph a line given the point and the slope. Well, use your slope for your starting point. -2, 4 is your starting point. And so that's right there. I'm a little bit off with my marker. Sorry about that. But that's the starting point. Now I'm going to use the slope to draw a second point. The slope tells me to go up 3/4. Here we go. Up 3/. Oops. My board is not cooperating. So I'm having to guess. And you know how that is. Let's try this again. So my starting point is at -2, 4. So the -2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. The next point is I'm going to get that by going up 3. 1, 2, 3, and over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now I'm going to draw a line to the 2 points. Again, my board is off, so just imagine that it's going through those 2 points. There we go. And there's my arrow. You have a ruler, so yours will be nice and pretty. I have now graphed my line because I know the slope and I know a point. Here's another example. Oh, what are we going to have here? We have y plus 3 equals 0 times x minus 4. What's the slope? Well, the slope is 0. What happens? What kind of line do we have with a slope of 0? We have a line with a slope of 0. We have a horizontal line. And where does this horizontal line live on our coordinate plane? Well, it's going to go through the point 4, -3. So just to sketch it real quickly, I know it's horizontal. To find the point 4, -3, I go over 4, down 3. So it's going to be about here. And I know it's horizontal. It goes through there. And like this is horizontal. It looks about like that as a sketch. Again, yours will be prettier on paper. And that's how we do that with the slope of 0. Slope of 0 is horizontal. Write an equation. Example, the next example says write an equation that describes the line in slope-intercept form. Let's think about this. We're given the slope. We're given a point on the line. How will we write the equation? Notice this is different. Before we were told to write a line or an equation in point-slope form. This time we're asked to write it in slope-intercept form. Well, slope-intercept form, here's point-slope form, but slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we want to get from this equation to this equation. How do we do it? It's easy. Simply solve for y. Simplify and solve for y. So we're going to put our values in the point-slope formula. We're going to put a 3 in for our slope. We're going to put in the point -1, 4. So it becomes y minus 4 and x minus a -1, which then becomes x plus 1. So to simplify this, we're going to simplify our subtraction by rewriting x minus -1 as x plus 1. Our next step is to distribute. We're going to multiply 3 times x. And 3 times 1 gives us 3x plus 3. And now to solve for y, we add 4 to each side. It gives us y equals 3x7. And ta-da, we have our equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so now we know with an x. 2 more examples, I think. Where, again, we're going to write these equations in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, got to know the formula, is y equals mx plus b. It's called slope-intercept form because it's the form that gives us the slope and the y-intercept. This time we know 2 points. We don't know the slope. How do we find the slope if we're given 2 points? Well, we find the slope using the slope formula, right? That. Using the slope formula, we have change in y over change in x. So we do -3 minus 1 right there. Again, we do -3 minus 1. That's our numerator. And let's go to that. We do 2 minus 4. That's our denominator. So that gives us -3 minus 1 is -4. Over 2 minus 4 is -2. See what we got there? -4 divided by -2 is 2. Now we know the slope. We know m is, well, if we have the slope and a point, we can use the point-slope form. It's called the point-slope form because it gives us a point and the slope. So we're going to put our 2 in for our slope. And we're going to put in the point. It doesn't matter which point you use. I will use this one because it's positive. So I'm going to put in, for my y, I'll put in a 1. For my x, I'll put in a -4. Now, erase this. Okay. So now I need to simplify. Solve for y, and I have my equation endpoint in slope-intercept form. How did I do that? Well, I distributed 2. So that gave me y minus 1 is 2x minus 8. I added 1 to each side, giving me y equals 2x minus 7. That's my equation in, yes, slope-intercept form. Well, we do have more. We have a little bit more. All right. It says points 10, comma, -3, and 5, comma, -2 are on a line. Find the intercepts. So first, you're going to find the slope, changing y over changing x. We know how to do that. Do the math. The slope is -1/5. If you forget, if you're confused, look back. Look back in the previous chapter. Then we're going to use the slope and a point to write it in slope-intercept form. Say, here's my -1/5. That's my slope. I picked a point here. It doesn't matter which point you choose. This time I chose 5, -2. I put the 5 in for my x. I put the -2 in for my y. Simplify by distributing. And here's your equation. I'm almost done. Almost done. How to find the x and y intercepts. I'm going to replace the x and y with 0. We learned about this when we learned about x and y intercepts. My y-intercept is -1. I know that by thinking of the formula. Y equals mx plus b. All right. I can also justify that it equals -1 by putting a 0 in for x. Makes my x term go away. My y-intercept is -1. Define my x-intercept. Find my x-intercept. Yes, I put a 0 in for y. My intercept occurred where y is 0. So I put a 0 in for y, giving me the equation 0 equals -1/5 x minus 1. I'm going to multiply, I'm going to add 1 to each side. First of all, add 1 to each side, add 1 to each side. It gives me 1 equals -1/5 x. Now to get x by itself, I multiply by the reciprocal of -1/5. So I'm going to multiply both sides by -5. And that gives me the x-intercept. X equals -5. So my y-intercept is -1. My x-intercept is -5. I can graph it if I want. I know my x and y-intercept. That's all for today. I'll see you in class. Thank you.